This is Kia's new baby, the EV2. Now normally when we see the production version of a concept car, it looks nothing like it, but not this time. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything we know about the EV2 and see if I can spot the differences between this car and the concept that I saw almost exactly a year ago, which might be a short game because I can't see much. Are you ready then? Let's play a game of spot the difference. So first things first, this is exactly the same colour as the concept car, isn't it? Frost blue. This is the baseline trim. There will be a GT line trim as well. First big difference, proper doors. They're not rear hinged like the ones on the concept car were, which is such a shame because I would love to see a car with those. Anyway, and also the handles are slightly different. They were hidden away on the doors in the concept. These are pop-out handles. They pop out automatically on the GT line. You have to push them out on the baseline. Here, slight difference. You've got a rear quarter light. Concept car had one big fixed pane of glass. What else? Mirrors, slightly different. They weren't body coloured, they were a bit slimmer because of course it's a concept car, you don't need to do much with those. And the wheels, the alloys, different shape on the alloys, although if you go for the GT line, you can opt for ones that look very similar to those on the concept car. And that, I think, is everything that I can spot around here. Should we go to the back? So if you remember on the concept, the rear lights were open and they had LEDs that you could see. These are obviously covered in a different shape. And you've got some trim across here. This trim, incidentally, is along the front and rear bumpers and also down the side. It is, I think, silver or black on the baseline, and on the GT line, it's actually body coloured. And that's it. Can't really see anything else. So like I said, it's going to be a short game. Let me know if you can spot any other differences in the comments below. The EV2 follows that same tried and tested design you see on all Kia's EVs. It's got the angular lines, those distinct daytime running lights, the star-map lighting, that high shoulder and chunky wheel arches. Compared to a car like the Renault 5, the EV2 looks more grown up. It's longer and taller. Against the VW id.polo, another interesting rival heading our way soon. Well, it's almost the same footprint, but the EV's extra height gives it a more upright mini SUV vibe than the classic super mini shape. This car has got 18-inch wheels, 16-inch comes as standard, with the GT Line S getting 19-inch. Although this may change as UK specs aren't confirmed yet. You would definitely pick this out in a lineup as a Kia, wouldn't you? It's unmistakable, like a baby EV9. Does it remind you a bit of the Kia Soul? Because it does me. Absolutely love the Kia Soul. It's one of my favourite EVs still. I love a bit of boxiness in a car. Although the boxiness is slightly offset by that curvier rear end with the cute spoiler, I do think it's a really cute looking thing. Question is though, is it cute and different and cool enough to make you choose this over a Renault 5 or that forthcoming id.polo? It's going to be really interesting. Let us know what you think in the comments below of how this looks and whether you think Kia has nailed it with design, or is it starting to look a bit samey? The concept car interior was made from mushrooms, recycled paper, and if memory serves me correctly, the materials the Adidas supplier uses for the soles of their trainers. Can't see much signs of that in here, but while it may not resemble the concept, it definitely resembles the Kia interior that we see on all the larger cars. The big tell for me is the headrests. These are the comfiest headrests in the business. I really like them and I love how simple they are. It's a nice place to be in here. It is big. That boxy shape means that, you know, headroom is good. You've got a nice depth in the windows because you've got the high roof line. It just feels very bright and light and airy. I spent a lot of time in a Renault 5 over the past year because I've been running one, and it doesn't feel as cramped in here. I know taller passengers in particular that I've carried do feel the headroom in the Renault 5 is a little bit of a challenge for them. Steering wheel, very familiar from across the range. This is the standard steering wheel, so it's just 2-spoke. It's got all its controls on it. You've got your flappy paddles for brake regeneration, your gear selector down there, just as you get with other Kias. If you go for the GT line, you get the 3-spoke steering wheel. And then look just down here, you've got buttons for heated seats, heated steering wheel. It's really well spec'd. Caveat is that a lot of this may change once we know what we're getting on UK spec cars, but they're generally pretty well spec'd. Other than that, you've got loads of things that you see in all the bigger cars. You've got the triple screen along here, so it's actually two outward screens. You've got infotainment, driver information, and then climate control in the middle. You've got the buttons. Yay to buttons. We love buttons. Look here. So good, isn't it? And this, the big chunky volume control that I really like because it's there and it's easy. So the infotainment system is great. It's very intuitive. For the first time, and this is quite interesting, Kia is offering you the option to downgrade the infotainment system. Does anybody really use the inbuilt navigation system? No, you don't. You all use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, don't you? So you can opt to not have that, go for Infotainment Lite. It's not called that, that's what I'm calling it. And then you just use your phone as your navigation. I think that is really smart. Some drivers do want all that. You know, they want to be able to see, you know, where their charging stop is, and they want to take advantage of the clever things that the infotainment system will do with that in the mapping. But for most of us, we want to use CarPlay or Auto. So yeah, I think that's a smart idea. You're going to be able to personalise the infotainment system. They've done a tie-up with Disney at the moment and Marvel, and there's sort of 5 or 6 different themes that you can download, which is brilliant if you are a Disney and Marvel fan. I suspect not many of us will want to do that, but you know, you might prove me wrong, I don't know. Materials in here are really nice. I love how much fabric has been used, gives it quite a nice kind of cosy, loungy vibe. Look, this is an affordable car. You know, you've got a lot of plastics. Kind of doesn't matter though, because you've got this nice tactile, really soft feeling material. It feels a bit like those cosy flannel pajamas that you wear in winter. Maybe that's just me. There is one thing that I can spot from the concept car. There's a little welcome bar there, and it says hello to you. It lights up and says hello when you open the doors, because the concept car had sort of a messaging thing. There's also, in a very live, laugh, love vibe, very Citroen vibe actually, behind the handles there, have a nice day. That's on all the door handles, so you can all be wished a nice day. So the design team told me that the inspiration for the interior was a picnic box, which at first I was like, I can't really see that. And then I kind of think I can. Because you know how like picnic boxes have got lots of little practical containers? That's what they've done with the storage. There's lots of really nice little practical areas. So the doors, if you can see, are like really cleverly split, and you've got quite a deep door bin in here. Doesn't quite fit. Oh, it does, it fits my massive cup in it. That's brilliant. Look at that. Fits my really, really big cup of tea, because it's ridiculously early here. It's like 7 a.m. or something. And also cup holders. You've got one good size one there. Fits my massive cup of tea. And then this is a cute little thing. You've just got a little divider there, so you can split that up, put different size cups in there as well for your second cup holder. You've got wireless charging, loads of charging ports. And then you've just got, again, nice little compartments there for keeping things. I think the interior is really nicely done. One more thing before I dive into the back, ambient lighting. It's got really nice ambient lighting here. And if you opt for that, because it is an option, you get puddle lights. Now, I remember when puddle lights, when you open the door, used to be a thing on really expensive cars. You know, seen them on Bentleys and, you know, Land Rovers, you know, the high-spec Range Rovers. And look at them. They're now on Kia's smallest and most affordable car, which just shows you how quickly technology is filtering down into more affordable models. It's really nice, actually. It feels really smart having a puddle light when you come up to your car. Right, into the back. Quite like these handles to hold for when you're speeding along country lanes. Not that I'd ever do that, of course. Don't know what they're for. Like, you know, exercise? Bit of gym work? Yeah, I quite like them though. Here in the back, it's definitely more roomy than a car like the Renault 5. So the seat is set for Manos's driving position. He is 6'2", 188 centimetres. For those of you that don't live in the UK and use old school measurements, and yes, Manos is very happy because I remember that it's 6'2". As you can see, you know, there's a really good amount of leg room. So decent leg room there. Also, there's a nice scoop for you to put your legs under. Ignore the fact that my knees are slightly thrown up. I've got very high heel boots on. That seat is set for my driving position. And that has got, as you can see, a lot more space. So depending on the driver, you will get really decent space back here. Now, it gets a little bit complicated, so let me explain the seating configurations. So you've got the option of seating 3 here in the back on a traditional bench seat, or you can opt for 2, and what you get is a seat that moves back and forward, which will look like this. Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forward, backwards. That's what the handle is for. Yes! Forward, backwards, forward, backwards. So you can either have more space when you need to carry stuff in the boot, or more legroom if you're going on longer journeys and you've got, taller passengers in the back, which is really great versatility. I think it's quite a smart move offering both options. The Hyundai Insta only went down the option of offering configuration for 4 people, and I think that's limited that car a little bit. You've got to have a nice day, and the handles in the back as well. As usual, really useful charging ports here on the sides of the seats, and then down there, as you can see, you've got vehicle to load. Vehicle to load comes across the range, and again, it's just such a brilliant addition to have. Nice flat floor. The windows are obviously slightly narrower in the back, so it's not quite as bright and light and airy in here, but this is a dark interior, and there is a lighter option as well, which we should be taking in the UK. But yeah, I think this is pretty spacious for a car in this class. Now, boot space is often really compact in cars in this class, so let's take a look at this. As much as I love the Renault 5, it's hard to get stuff in the boot. So, as you can see, nice wide opening, no lip there to lift stuff into straight away. I like that. Now, how much space you get depends on what rear seat configuration you go for. So this has got the standard 3 seats across the back. That means you get 362 litres of space in here, which is pretty much towards the top end of cars in this class. If you go for the 2-seater bench seat, you can push them forward and get 403 litres of space. And its furthest back configuration, which gives you more leg room, you get 321 litres, which even at that is still on a par with the Renault 5. The boot space is split, so you've got a good storage compartment under here, really handy for chucking in your dirty wellies. And you've also got some little storage hooks and things around the side. It's a usable space, I think. Now, what this car does get, though, that its rivals don't, is something round at the front. Come and take a look. Ta-da! It has a Frunk. 15 litres. Technically, it's more of a front tray, but it does fit your charging cable in, and as I said, something that the competitors don't get. When it comes to range, you can expect up to 317 kilometres, that's about 200 miles for the smaller batteried car, and more than 440 kilometres, about 275 miles for the long-range version. I strongly suspect that Kia might not take that smaller battery car in the UK and just opt for the long range, as this is going to be the big seller. And a heat pump, as usual, will be an option. It follows that familiar Kia playbook of sneaking in slightly bigger batteries than its competitors to get a bit more range. So it has definitely more range than the Renault 5's top figure, which is 251 miles of range. We'll be on about a par with the forthcoming id.polo, which we expect to be around a similar figure, 275, maybe 280. And that is going to be a really interesting twin test when we can get our hands on those two. Also worth bearing in mind is where the battery is built. So the battery is going to be built for the larger long-range battery in Hungary, so in Europe. The car itself is also being built in Europe, in Slovakia, second EV to be built at Kia's factory there. That means that it may well qualify for the UK government grant. Now, there are 2 different levels of that. Potentially, it could qualify for the top level, £3,750. So it's going to be interesting to see where that falls, because, of course, that will have an impact on the pricing. More on that in a minute. So both versions of the EV2 are built on 400-volt architecture that it shares with the Kia EV3. So that means charging times on a rapid, on a DC, of about half an hour for both. What is great is that 11 kilowatt AC charging comes as standard But for the first time, you can opt for 22 kilowatt charging across the range. Now that is absolutely brilliant, given that around 80% of the chargers across Europe are 22 kilowatt capability on AC. So I think that's a fantastic move. It's something that we'd like to see more and more cars offering. You also get vehicle to load, of course, and vehicle to grid, something you don't get with the Renault 5 at the moment, although that is meant to be coming, but it's been meant to be coming for quite a while. So power from both variants comes from a single motor. 0 to 62 will take 8.7 seconds in the smaller batteried version. The bigger battery is a rather more sedate 9.5 seconds. Top speed a respectable 100 miles an hour, so it should feel quite punchy. And it can also tow, which is good, isn't it? 750 kilograms. Not just useful for towing, of course, but also for vertical loads, so you could stick your bikes on the top of this. I think if you go for this, with the bigger battery, you're getting a really usable main family car. And as I alluded to inside, you get loads of driver assistance tech, including stuff that you don't normally find on smaller cars like this, 360-degree cameras and remote parking assist. So it means you can put this into a tight space just using the key. And I think it's the only car in its class to get this. For a full list of all the tech that it's got, this is where I'd normally head to the website. It's got all the details on there. Or you could freeze frame this video and take a look at the list, which is scrolling along at the bottom of the screen. After being told for ages that the small car is dead following Ford cancelling the Fiesta, 2026 is the year that proves that wrong, because there are loads of them coming. Not only have we got the Kia EV2, we've got that VW id.polo, we've got the Cupra Raval, we've got the Skoda Epic, there's more as well. Now, with cars in this class, pricing is so key, and that's the bit you want to know, isn't it? So it's too soon to have firm UK pricing. I'm going to take an educated stab at this. Is going to start at around £24,000 for the entry-level car. I'd add probably £3,000-ish onto that for the bigger batteried version. And of course, in the UK, that price may come down once we know where this falls within the UK government electric car grant brackets. So it could end up being really pretty affordable. What's going to be fascinating this year is seeing all these small cars going head to head, and we will be driving them all, as we do with every single EV that goes on sale. So if you aren't already, please do subscribe to the channel, switch your notifications on so you know when all those videos land, and let us know what you think of Kia's latest baby in the comments below.